Okay. Now, many of you are going to think that I'm oversimplifying this, but that's that. Oh, what do we have here? I'm being passed. Keep moving. Come on. Get off the truck. Get. Yeah. Side action here. There we go. Okay, now many of you are going to think that I'm oversimplifying this, and I'm not. Right now, we're dealing with this, we're learning all about this virus. So, sorry. What is a virus? A virus is it's an invader of your system. Let's just call it that. It's typically in the guise of a protein. I think viruses are proteins. You get a virus. You go along, you're at your business, you start feeling sick, you're coming down with something. When you get a virus, your body responds in a couple of ways. One of these ways or all of these ways. It's your immune system trying to fight this invader that you have. One is your fever. Your body's going to elevate your temperature higher than normal because it knows that viruses cannot withstand the higher temps. That's if your body, that's why your body's getting a temperature. There's a reason behind it. Your body's going to kill this virus by raising the temperature beyond its capabilities. It cannot inhabit such space. So you fever. That's how your immune system reacts to this thing. The other one is mucus, a mucus response. Your body's trying to, in simplest terms, smother it with all this snot so you can either cough it out, sneeze it out, get it out, however the case is. So it's a mucus response. The other one is coughing, which is kind of tied to the mucus thing, but you're coughing. When someone is coughing, they're trying to cough this thing out of them. And someone says, well, like right now they're talking about you don't want to be around someone who's coughing or the coughing droplets out, and if you touch it, you're going to catch this virus. Well, the virus is actually leaving someone. Well, there's a purpose for that. You're coughing this thing out. Your body wants to get rid of it. It's your body's immune system, its response to this invader. You also, I think, bacterial infections, you get the diarrhea. I don't think you get it with viruses. I could be wrong. But the same thing, your body's trying to flush this thing out of your system. All right? So you're getting sick, and you're going to get all these things are going to start happening to you. When I was a little kid, my grandmother was an old Armenian woman, and my great-grandmother, who was on the scene at the time, was from Armenia, from the old country. When we would get sick as little kids and get a fever, for whatever reason, probably a flu or something, they'd lay you on the bed, cover you with wet towels, and take ice cubes in each hand and put them on your forehead, your temples, your neck, your hands, this and that. And they weren't trying to, they were trying to, let's say you had 104 temperature. They didn't want it that hot because that's painful and can be dangerous. They wanted to reduce the body temperature, but not back to your 98.6 or 96.8, whatever our temperature is supposed to be. They wanted to lower it, wanted to manage the body temperature because they knew that fever was killing the virus. It's the body's natural reaction, your immune system, to fight this invader that's making you sick. Actually, it's the invader that shows up and you feel sick from what your body's trying to do. But that's how your body fights these things. So raising the temperature kills the virus, according to your body, and that's what it's trying to do. It's tough with babies because it's hard to get fluid into babies and this kind of thing. So what I'm trying to say is my grandma and my great-grandma weren't trying to stop the fever, okay? They were trying to manage it. Not too hot, but they want to keep it hot enough because they knew if they left it alone, it would kill the invader, okay? I would take, nothing. We took nothing. The other was you get the mucus response, okay? Well, I don't know if most people have done this. You have a milkshake or a cold glass of milk, and right afterwards, you get a mucus thing going, snotty. That's your body's response to milk. That's why you shouldn't be eating dairy. But your body responds because it's a mucus producer, all right? considers aspects of dairy an invader, so it covers it with mucus trying to get rid of this thing. So how would they manage that? Well, whether it was Vicks or vapor rubs or whatever the case is, trying to break up the snot. But they took us off of all meat. They took us off of all dairy products because they knew, okay, this is going to make him worse. So we couldn't have any of that stuff. It was maybe chicken soup without the meat or something like that. A lot of fluids, a lot of hot fluids trying to break up the mucus, whether it was in the lungs. Now, if we were coughing, what did they tell you to do? Cough, keep coughing, cough it out. Well, I can't, it's dry or it's low. Then they started to put hot soups and hot stuff inside, trying to break up all this phlegm. Cover your feet with Vicks, rub it all over your chest, keep the hot fluids in you, and slowly, what were they doing? Body was raising the temperature, breaking up that mucus response, getting it out. Cough it out, cough it out. I mean, they tell you, make sure you spit it out. Don't be swallowing that stuff. You cough it, spit it out. Gross. So they managed the fever because they want to keep it high enough to kill the virus. They did nothing about the mucus other than not to feed it. No dairy, no meat, this kind of stuff. And they wanted you to get it out. They encouraged the coughing. I'm forgetting one. Fever, cough. Anyhow. So their attitude was, we need to manage these aspects of the immune system's response. So keep the kid comfortable while he's going through this body's natural thing of fighting this. That's how they treated it. It was management. Nowadays, what we typically do is we suppress. Got a fever? Here, this is a fever reducer. We can stop the fever. So we'll give you ibuprofen. You're hearing now that they're just saying you don't want to be on aspirins or ibuprofen during this. That's a little tell sign there. Because you're shutting down the body's response. They don't have a treatment. So you got to use what the body has. So nowadays, we got a fever, let's stop the fever. We got a cough, let's stop the cough. Mucus problem, let's stop that. See, they typically block everything. I used to take these things, hay fever. So instead of having everything flush out of your system, this invader, I would take something that would block the mucus up in my head, in my nasal passages. And I get nasal infections all the time because the stuff wasn't coming out because I was taking this pill that kept it from coming out. But I didn't have a runny nose. So I worked against my body's immune system. So now what they're finding, like these people, they're saying, don't take the Advils, your ibuprofens, the things, because they're realizing that the only thing you have is the fever. Okay, I don't know if they're managing the fever. I've picked this up from people that on YouTube that have recovered from this virus. The things they did, the things they didn't do, or whatever. And they're all different. But my advice to you is if you were to think that you were coming down with a virus, and some people say, oh, this one's way worse, whatever, it's still a virus. If it's not, then you have to call it something else. But if it's a virus, your body's going to respond to it. Fever, mucus, coughing. Okay, you do not want to stop any of these things. You want to manage them. And you can. I mean, you can. If you just pull 2 or 3 foods, the flour, the meat, and the dairy out of your diet during this time that you're sick, you can stop 50% of the mucus, the body's response, 50% of the phlegm that's going to be in your chest. Okay, increase fluids. Manage, like I said, you manage your the fever. The most important thing we have in our favor is the fever. And I don't care how bad a shape you're in. Maybe you're a smoker, a drinker, you be a crackhead, whatever your deal is. You could be in really bad shape. If you are living, breathing, and can watch this video, you have something left of an immune response. Guaranteed. So what you do is you try to enhance that. Like I said, you get off certain items to reduce the mucus. You manage your fever. There's plenty of videos here on, like they do for little kids. Sleeping with wet cotton socks, covering with wet towels. But you don't want to stop the fever. You just want to reduce it. Because the fever is the only thing we have that's fighting this virus. Fighting all viruses. Because it's a virus. I'm forgetting something. I think they're having a lot of problems in these hospitals because I don't think I don't want to go into that. But there's some people out there that made videos who have recovered from this that was doing what their doctor. See, if you think you have this virus right now, you call the doctor. You call the hospital. You're not supposed to go there, which is good advice. You might not have it, go there and pick something up. But when you go there, or when you call them, they'll tell you, are you breathing okay? As long as you're breathing okay, they'll tell you to stay home. Self-isolate, and like that. You're not necessarily looking for the breathing thing, whatever. Hopefully that you don't go to that point. But if you can manage those things, if you can manage your fever, and I'm not talking about Tylenol and those things. I'm talking about doing it the way my grandmother did. Chicken soups, hot fluids, ice, wet towels, wet socks, and hunker down and go for it. It's the way they did it back 150 years ago. Don't want a fever. And if you have a way of checking your temperature, that's important. And if you're 100, that's uncomfortable. You get to 104, okay, you got to do something else. We had a lamb here, just the opposite of this. We had a lamb that was chilled when she was born. It was a cold morning, and the mother had 4. She didn't lick them all dry. This one got chilled, so she was hypothermic. So I put my hand in her mouth, and her gums are cold. She's dying. Okay, she's just laying there dead. Cold mouth, no action, she's done. So what I do, I pick her up, I take her, I put her in the sink, and start pouring hot water over her. I kept her in my sink, submerged up to her neck for 20 minutes. What did? We turned her body temperature around. We elevated the body temperature. The heart started to move, the blood started to flow. Now, she did not have a mucus problem or a fever. We were doing the opposite. Well, you can do the same thing with the human body. You can raise your temperature, lower your temperature. Okay, but it helps if you know what it is. But I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. It may seem oversimplified, but the body is a simple thing. And it's still a virus if you treat it like a virus. I know people sit there and know this thing's, I won't get into all that stuff, but manage your fever. I tell you what I did. A couple of days ago, I went on a fruit fast for 4 days. Okay. The second night, I got a fever, which happens, you get like a flu-like symptom. And once you've limited all the protein, all the stuff out of your system, and you're doing this fruit thing, it's starting to pull stuff out of you, your body will go into cold or flu-like symptoms. Because now it realizes, we're kind of flushing things out of here. I don't remember exactly why it happens, but it raises your body temperature because it's got some invaders it wants to deal with. It wants some stuff it wants to clear out. I've had some chest issues over the past couple of years that comes up this time of year. It's like pleurisy. It's in the chest area, but not in my lungs, nothing like that. And so what I do is I'll do this fast. The body finds out you got some stuff hanging around that shouldn't be here, whatever, and it starts to attack that. Basically what I did is I energized or kick-started my immune system by going on a fast. Maybe it's preemptive, who knows, but I had this thing I'm trying to deal with. Now what I did is on the 4th day I start eating again and the fever stops. I'll eat cooked food for 2 days and I'll do it again. All right? It's just a management thing from what I'm trying to do here, but that's a different deal. That's a fasting deal. But it jumpstarts the immune system. That's the whole thing. So do not work against your immune system. Do not try to suppress or stop anything. Manage your cough. Manage your snot and your mucus and everything. Manage your fever, and you can fight just about anything. I know people disagree, but what the heck? That's what YouTube's all about. It's a virus. And that's how your body reacts to viruses. Be on your body side. Don't be trying to stop stuff, this and that. Don't take any pills. It's not worth it. And they're saying now, they've already said, when they first came out, people on ibuprofen, this and that. Well, that's right, because it shuts down the only thing we have to fight this virus, fever. Manage it. Love you. God bless.